What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Members of the U.S. House Armed Services Committee have met with President Tsai at the presidential office in Taipei. Committee Vice Chair Rob Whitman reaffirmed his country's commitment to Taiwan's defense.
President Tsai knows that any hostile, unprovoked attack on Taiwan will result in a resolute reaction from the United States.
The U.S. is Taiwan's largest supplier of weaponry, and the Armed Services Committee is responsible for military affairs. The U.S. this week approved $80 million in military financing for Taiwan, but there have been delays in the delivery of systems worth $20 billion. Whitman said the U.S. has an obligation to fill that backlog. Vietnam is the latest country to condemn a new map by China. The map shows Taiwan and the entire South China Sea as Chinese territory. The sea is one of the most disputed areas in the world. It's used by trade routes worth about $3 trillion a year. Taiwan, the Philippines, and India have also rejected the map, and some have filed diplomatic objections. Chinese officials say their map is based on historical documents, but did not say whether it represents official claims. Taiwan's election season is in full swing. A central feature of campaigns is visit by candidates to the country's numerous temples. TaiwanPlus reporter Jeremy Olivier looks at how these sites have become such a big part of Taiwan's democratic politics.
This is presidential hopeful Lai Ching-te of Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party at a temple on the offshore island of Jinmen, which is nearest to China. And this is his main rival, Hou You-yi, of the opposition Kuomintang, or KMT, at another temple in Taiwan's capital city, Taipei. And this is Ko Wen-je, the third force contender from the Taiwan People's Party at yet another temple in southern Taiwan. Taiwan's political candidates regularly make these appearances on the campaign trail. When current President Tsai campaigned for the 2020 elections, she made over 130 temple visits, leading the KMT to criticize her as the temple president. But for people in Taiwan, it's an important part of the election process.
很多人会来啦，也有蓝的，也有绿的，也有白的啊，各方面大家会来看谁的政见比较好啊。
他除了来拜拜以外，这里是活动中心，人情聚集，在别的地方找不到这样理想的场地。
很重要啊，因为在台湾宗庙是最多的，比 7 还多。
Taiwan is home to both Eastern and Western religions, but most of the country's 12,000 or so temples are dedicated to Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism, and most often a local folk religion that combines elements of all three. And aside from praying here, particularly in small towns and villages, these places are the centers of the community.
They're always located in strategic locations, usually near a market or near a dock or a bridge or a transportation center. So they've always been sort of hubs of activity. And in a traditional village, one of the few places with an open space in front of it would be a temple.
There are also social clubs for local elites who frequently serve as the temple's management. This makes visiting them a must for political candidates, who can also use the opportunity to get some free advertising, make stump speeches, and pray for blessings from as many gods as possible.
So if you are a local elite or an aspiring politician, you definitely want to be associated with a temple because it is a public node associated with prestige and power.
There's also a hierarchy of which temples candidates should visit to rally voters. The Dajia Zhenlan Mazu Temple in Taichung is a main starting point for anyone looking to take office. The sea goddess Mazu is one of Taiwan's biggest deities and a favorite of the country's politicians, especially Foxconn founder and possible independent candidate Terry Kuo. When he announced his first presidential run in 2019, Kuo said Mazu had told him in a dream to do it. Other must-visit sites include the headquarters of Taiwan's 4 main Buddhist groups, Fo Guangshan, Tzu Chi, Dharma Drum, Zhongtai Chan Monastery, and temples for a Chinese sect called Yiguan Dao.
But mostly, it's pit stops at smaller local temples, like the one happening here that are the norm in Taiwan.
As candidates drum up support for their campaigns, and with elections set for January, voters can expect to see many more events like this one in the months ahead. Scott Huang and Jeremy Olivier in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
The government is working to make it easier for people to hire foreign caregivers. That's according to Premier Chen Jianren.
政府实际上已经实施了长照2.0的计划，进行社区长照还有住宿型长照，但是还是有些家庭需要有家庭的看护移工的帮忙，我们会秉持着简政便民、扩大照顾原则，来放宽家庭看护移工申请的门槛，并且做好社会的沟通。
Chen said the Health and Welfare Ministry would change the way it assesses the need for care, making it easier for people to hire a foreign caregiver. This comes after opposition presidential candidate Hou You-yi said if he wins in the upcoming election, he will remove assessments entirely for people over 80. Taiwan's cabinet has signed off on new rules restricting public servants from using generative artificial intelligence. Several countries have been mulling how to regulate fast-growing AI technology. Joyce Tsai has this report.
In the months since it was publicly launched, generative artificial intelligence has only been getting stronger. Rapid advances in AI have complicated government efforts around the world to regulate the technology, which is also true in Taiwan. For months, officials have been drafting rules to ensure three main things: that AI-generated information is correct, tools are used responsibly, and that digital infrastructure powering AI is secure. That's resulted in Taiwan's first set of rules for using machine-generated content in the public sector.
封闭式的地段的部署的生成式 AI 的模型呢，如果确认它这个系统环境的安全可以依机密等级呢来分级使用。
According to the guidelines, any AI-generated content by public offices, from the military to hospitals, must still be reviewed and approved by a human user. AI tools are not allowed to be used on confidential information. And in the interest of privacy, personal details are also banned from being fed into AI's data pool. Any public official using AI on a private network or VPN must also have this cleared first. And if AI is used at any point, that must be clearly labeled. Given the infinite ways generative AI can be applied, these rules are likely just a starting point.
我们希望在比较适当的这个资讯之下，我们才能够去往那个AI 基本法这个往下走。
Tech giants are betting artificial intelligence will revolutionize the way the world works. But concerns over a potential uncontrollable spread of disinformation and lack of transparency leave global leaders in a tight spot. As engineers explore new realms of AI capabilities, governments face the tough task of supporting innovation while protecting people from potential harm. And by releasing guidelines for public officials, Taiwan has taken its first step. James Lin and Joyce Tsai for TaiwanPlus.
The launch of Taiwan's first domestically made weather satellite has been pushed back to October. This is the latest of several delays to Triton's launch, which was originally scheduled for March this year. In July, Taiwan shipped the satellite to French Guiana with plans to send it up in September. Now, if all goes to plan, Triton will lift off early next month. Triton was jointly developed by Taiwan Space Agency and the Central Weather Bureau and took nearly 10 years to complete. Once operational, it would monitor wind patterns and make forecasts more accurate. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of the naked cowboy. Dressed only in underpants, boots, and a cowboy hat, he's been performing in New York Times Square for 25 years. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.